In this video, I'm going to share with you how I scale online personal brands to over $100,000 a month with one simple funnel that you can literally get set up within 30 minutes. And you honestly could probably get this set up a lot faster than 30 minutes, but I'm just going to go through and show you the basics of what you need. So step one, which is the most important part, is you need to have your offer dialed in. When you're creating your offer, it needs to be clear and valuable. And I suggest charging high ticket when you do this because part of this strategy is going to require ad spend. And in order to make this profitable, you usually need to charge a little bit more. So we put in here usually 3K. We do have some clients that are literally charging $1,000 for their services and it's still working. But when you're doing this, you just want to make sure you're charging enough. So for example, if you're charging $500 a month, well, put it into a package and give people a discount for buying a 6-month program. Like stack it together and give them a discount so you can get more cash up front. There's a lot of ways you can do about it. If you're like, hey, my offer doesn't work, I don't charge enough. Trust me, you can definitely charge enough. We've helped a coach that is in the charcuterie business scale to $100,000 a month just by optimizing their offer. So I promise you, your offer is something that's easily fixable. It's not something that should hold you back. The next thing is dial in who it's for and their core problem and the transformation. This is where I see a lot of people mess up is if you are speaking to everybody, you're speaking to nobody. You need to be super specific. We have a fitness coach right now who is going after, I won't tell the whole business, but let's just say they're going after veterinarians, right? And it's very specific in that industry. And they are spending less than $10,000 a month on ads and generating over $200,000 a month because they're so specific with this exact strategy I'm going to share with you here. I always say avoid too much information or trying to sell stuff for like too low ticket. Like you don't want to speak to everybody. If you're trying to speak to all the brokies and all the people that have money, you're not going to speak to anyone. So speak to one type of person. A framework you can use for this is I help blank get blank without blank. So I help coaches get more clients without posting content every day. Whatever it might be, just substitute that in there. And if you don't have that solution, that answer right there, you should not move on to the next part. In fact, this is where a lot of people get it wrong is if someone says, what do you do? And you can't answer that question without rambling for 30 minutes, you need to go refine this. Your framework right here is I help blank get blank without blank. If you can answer that question, you can make a lot of money in this space. But again, the more niche and the more specific you are, the better results you're going to get. Now, a lot of times people think that they suck at business, but in reality, you don't suck. It's your offer that sucks. If you don't have a good offer, nothing else will work. And I've seen that happen over and over and over again where people just aren't successful in this space because their offer is just terrible. So once you have your offer in play, which is the most important part for any of this to work, we move on to step 2, which is the funnel that we use. You're going to set your Instagram up as a funnel. Now, I know this isn't anything new or anything different. In fact, when I started teaching the Instagram funnel about 3 to 4 years ago, nobody else was teaching it. And now it seems like every day, everybody's an expert. But here's the thing. We've been doing it for 7 years now. And whenever other people try teaching it, they always mess it up and they always do it wrong. And it's like, if you don't do everything right, you're going to miss one part and it's going to mess up the entire thing. So I'll show you how it works and kind of explain it and give you some detail on it. The first thing is obviously it works with paid ads. So we're going to run ads to your IG profile and we're going to start a DM conversation and then we're going to invite people to a call. If you'd like more information on how this exact strategy right there works, just go to my YouTube. There's a lot more videos on here that explain how that process works. Follower ads work really well too, where you just ask people to follow you. Now, if you're going to do that, you have to pay attention to this example here that I'm going to show you in order for follower ads to work. See, a lot of people run follower ads and they're like, oh, it doesn't work. Or they boost on their story or boost on their Instagram and they go, oh, it doesn't work because they're missing some small steps. I'm going to share with you. You don't need a back-end funnel. Literally, all you need is just your Instagram DMs and a way to get people on a call. It's the most lean machine type of client acquisition system there is, and that's why I think it's the best. I've done everything you can think of. I think this is the best. If you were to use the software, I'd recommend using Go High Level or wait, depending on when you're watching this video. If we've released our software yet, I would definitely use that first. I'll talk more about that later on. But with this, I love it because you can control the lead quality by just optimizing the DMs and how you set. You know, when you're first starting this, you're going to want to start booking everybody. But once your calendar gets full, then you're going to want to tune that back and only book quality people so you can really scale and then bring on a team underneath you. Now, this is different from your typical just, hey, let's post content, let's go viral to get more clients and more prospects. The reason being is when you do this the right way, these these type of conversations are people that are actively looking for a solution. Whereas when you post a video about going viral, you get a lot of people in that space, right? So like, for example, one of my friends, he goes viral every time he posts something, but he's talking about like just normal things like, oh, well, I love New Orleans because of this. And it's like, it's cool. You get a lot of attention and that's cool stuff, but how do you capitalize on that? And that's why I like this system better, because if you have a combination of both, even better. But really, you only need this. You just need to get hyper qualified, super specific leads into your ecosystem. And this is how you do it. So here's an example. I'll break down the actual funnel here in a second, but here's my page on Instagram. And you really just want to turn it into a funnel. The main thing, first things first, if you don't have your full name as your username, please, for the love of God, go do that. I've seen people come through and we have a lot of clients that have some crazy username. The first thing we say is clean up your username. Have a clear image of your photo. Don't have one zoomed out, you with a car, you can't see your face or anything. People need to trust you. They need to see that you're a real person, right? And then say what exactly you do. Be very specific on who you help and what you do. See how simple this is? And then right here, learn how. Learn how is taking them to a page where I explain what we do and the results that we have achieved here, right? I show, hey, we're not newbies in this space. We've done over $400,000 in 1 month. Watch this video if you want to learn how to do $400,000 in 1 month. That's why, like most of you that are watching this video, you watch my stuff because you're like, hey, this guy actually knows what he's talking about. Most of the people online don't. I agree. Most people have no idea what they're talking about when they try teaching things. But anyways, point being is you want to have this part optimized. You want to have, I always like to have 3 or 4 story highlights right here. I like start here, my life, client results, and about me. That way people can get to know you pretty quickly. And then I always like having, you want to make sure your 3 posts here are penned and they're very specific so they can welcome people into your ecosystem. So case studies, about me, and then something cool that you've done. So like this one, for example, is a mastermind that we hosted, right? We rented out a mansion in Fort Lauderdale and had, what was it, like 40, 50 people here. And then we had our clients here as well talking about how one's made over $1 million with this system. The system I'm sharing with you right now. And then you want to just post content that is relatable to what you do, but you also want to include some lifestyle stuff. So you can see this is lifestyle / business, this is business, this is podcast, this is client results. This is a video of a mastermind. A lot of the stuff that I'd post. Now, a lot of the stuff that I post are like masterminds or traveling. So like here's one where we were in Japan, me and my girlfriend. Here's one of me in my car. Just cool stuff. You want to make it so like when someone looks at your profile, they're like, wow, I want to be like this guy, or I want to work with this guy. He's got the information I want. So now that you have the actual funnel, this is how it works if you want to see the simplicity behind it. You run ads, which is traffic. You have your different ways. You have your ads, you have short form content if you want to do the route of going viral or just getting more views. You have your socials and you have your emails. Everything points back to your Instagram. When you have your Instagram, this is really where the magic comes in this spider web right here. Again, where most of the people try teaching the strategy, they have no idea how to do this part first off. I'm going to show you and explain it for you here in a second why it's so powerful. Is once you have them on your Instagram, kind of what I showed you, link in bio towards a mini VSL. You have your story call to actions. You want to be posting call to actions 2 to 3 times a week. You have your post call to actions and they just absorb your content. People are going to digest your information. From there, you have a DM conversation. You invite them to a Zoom call if they're a good fit, and then you have a sale. It's really pretty simple. Now, this is what takes the rookies apart from the pros right here, is you got to have good retargeting. It doesn't matter if you can fill up your top of funnel. If you can't retarget people the right way, you're going to lose out on all that traffic. So we call this a spider web, where when somebody lands on my Instagram, they are now part of my spider web. I was at the barber the other day and she was telling me, she's like, dude, I see your ads every day. And it's been like that for about 4 or 5 months now. I was like, yeah, you're part of the web. That's what happens. When you get people a part of the web for pennies on the dollar, you can make them see your content every single day. So that's where you have all kinds of different ways with the spider web where you can start getting affiliates, you can grow your email list, you can sell out your events, you can promote your YouTube, you can have more lead magnets, you can direct offer to ads. There's so many things you can do with it, but this is where people don't know what they're doing. So if you want to be apart from everybody else, learn to retarget the right way. We got some videos on the channel that talk about it. Step 3 is sales. It's pretty self-explanatory. Realistically, I put 1 to 2 closers here to close your deals, but you could really get away with just doing all this by yourself. I mean, you could be the main setter and you could be the main closer. We have clients that do that. What I would recommend for the most peace of mind is 1 setter and you as a main closer until you're up to 100K cash collected a month, and then bring on other people because then you can reinvest back into the business. A lot of people don't think about business as, oh, I need to reinvest back into it. You do need to reinvest back into your business in order for it to grow. Can't tell you the amount of of times clients come to me, they have a big month, and then they use that money to go travel or ball out or buy a new watch or buy a new car. And then 3 months later, they go ghost and they come back like, oh, dude, like nothing's working. I can't tell you how many times I've heard that. It's usually the younger people we work with are like that because they want to show the lifestyle off online. But if you really want to take one piece of advice that'll change your life, you actually have to invest back in your business. I know it sounds crazy, but if you do that, you're going to make a lot more money. It's the biggest return you could possibly have. Not the stock market, not in crypto. Yourself and your business is the best investment you can make. Now, the next thing, you want to make sure you're tracking KPIs. If you're going to be running ads, you need to be tracking KPIs. The most important metric, there's a lot of metrics like cost per call booked, cost per lead, cost per call shown, cost per quality, close rate, cost per acquisition. All that stuff's important. But I'll leave you with the one thing. If you just measure this one thing, it's going to make everything more important, is your dollar per lead, meaning how much is a lead worth for you. So for example, inside my company, we aim for $1 per lead over $100. So simple math, if we can generate leads for $25, we profit $75 every time we generate a lead. Sounds pretty cool, right? But you got to understand the math and you got to understand the KPIs behind it. So here's what I'll leave you with on the sales side. If your sales calendar is full, but nobody's closing, we don't scale that yet. We fix it. Before moving on to step 4, which is what I call scale like Christian Bale, it's really simple. Once you have all this done, it's just more ad spend with the same funnel. You're going to train setters, you're going to train closers, you're going to add a CSM, client success manager, to handle fulfillment, and you keep your time by just building the same repeatable process. And all you really have to do once you get this part up is just shoot content. That's where I'm at in my company now, is like I have departments for everything. I'm just in charge of marketing and shooting content, which is what I'm really good at. Maybe you're not great at just marketing and shooting content. You can find someone to replace you for that. And maybe you're just good at sales and you just stay in sales. We have some clients like that. You got to figure out what your superpower is and what you're really good at and stick to that as much as you possibly can. Because scaling isn't just about adding more, it's about doing less of what doesn't work. If I had to simplify that for you, and one of the values of my company is simple scales, complex fails, it's just do less of what doesn't work and do more of what does work. So with this funnel, a pro and a con, you can easily get it up to 100, 200K a month, 300 to 400, depending on your back end side of stuff. That's what we really help a lot of clients with, is scaling this, because it's way more than just what I showed you right here. But we show our clients how we've built this to 400K a month. It's not all just front end. You have to have a back end offer. You have to have ascensions. You have to have a full team. You have to have the right systems. You have to have the right tracking. A lot of stuff that goes involved with it. But if you want to just keep it simple and just build this funnel and cash out and make a lot of money, all you have to do is just build it the way I showed you. And you could probably max this out around 2 to 3 grand a day in ad spend right now, which is why I have, and me and my team are currently, I invested in building our own software to fix this. Our goal is to be able to spend 5 to 10K a day with this funnel. And right now, the current softwares, the current strategies, no one's doing it. And it's not possible with this. ManyChat and Meta did a case study on me. They flew out an entire production team to my house and built a case study on me for being the #1 DM ad spender in the world. So when I say this, and it's not more scalable than this, I mean it, because it's not. We've tried everything. But that's why we are building our own software to fix these issues. So stay tuned. The software at some point will become available. We're going to release it to our clients first and then the general public from there. So if you ever want like firsthand access to cool shit like this, we can always talk about working together. But if you really want to simplify it, don't overcomplicate it. People really overcomplicate what it takes to build a 100K a month business. And here it is right here. You really just have to have these 4 steps right here. So if you found this valuable, I would recommend going through some more of the content on my YouTube and absorb that and stack up some cash. And when you're ready to scale, hit me up.